15 miles per hour. We'll have mostly cloudy skies this evening and tonight. 32 are low.
Good morning and welcome to the Greg Belfrage Show. It's Election Day. Make sure you get out and vote today. Here in South Dakota, polls are open from 7 to 7. I'll talk about that in a moment. Thanks so much for being here. Hit that like button while you're thinking about it. I'd appreciate it. And here we go.
Discernment is on the air.
I love the Greg Belfrage Show.
I've been listening to you for years, Greg. Thanks for all you do and keeping us informed.
You sound a little taller on radio. Dispensing a daily dose of common sense. No prescription required.
Americans love a winner and will not tolerate a loser. Americans play to win all the time.
I don't believe in the no-win scenario.
This is the Greg.
Good morning, my friend. The marketplace of ideas is open. Great to have you along. It's Election Day, obviously, Tuesday, November 5th. And polls will be open in South Dakota today from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. So polls are not open yet in South Dakota. They are already open in a number of states. In fact, some states, voting started at midnight this morning. So polls will be open in South Dakota, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Remember, when you go, best thing to do is show your proof of identification. So your driver's license or an ID card, if you get a state-issued ID card, U.S. Government photo, so like a government passport. U.S. Armed Forces ID also accepted. So make sure you've got your identification. When you go to vote, you don't need to have it in order to vote, but it really keeps things running more smoothly if you do. So the big stories this morning: Donald Trump in his last event on the campaign trail and saying this is it. You know, that he's done. And he told the crowd in Michigan, your support means more than anything you can even understand. This is my last rally. Can you believe it? The rallies, these big, beautiful rallies, there's never been anything like it, and there never will be, Trump told supporters in Grand Rapids. So he didn't take the stage until after midnight this morning. And which makes it the last event actually on Election Day. And it marks the third time that Trump has ended his campaign in Grand Rapids. He did the same thing in 2016 and the city's airport in 2020. So he understands the importance of Michigan. And he told the crowd, you're really incredible people. Now it's 9 years, and we've been fighting side by side every step of the way. We've been together, he said. So Trump closing out the 2024 campaign in his rally in Grand Rapids, and there was he had a lot of he went after a lot of Democrats. Starting with House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, denigrated her as a bad person. She's an evil, sick, crazy. He mouthed the word. And then said, it starts with a B, but I won't say it. I want to say it. And then Trump said that Franklin Graham, who is the son of the Reverend Billy Graham, Franklin Graham with Samaritan's Purse, really doing, I think, some incredibly great work, especially in the wake of the hurricanes. Franklin Graham apparently had told Trump to watch his mouth, but said it's a little better when you use the foul language. So then other comments that Trump made, the legacy media is having a fit, but what else is new? I mean, that's a daily occurrence anymore. It's just absolutely incredible. So Trump also said that he's gotten better over the years. I'm more interested in terms of what, rather than some of what Trump was saying and the media reaction to it, or what people who are at the rally, what they're saying. I find a lot more meaningful. One woman, her name is Karen, 62-year-old warehouse employee, said of Trump, I think he's one of the only people that are going to be able to bring this country back to where it needs to be, she said, to be prosperous and not, being laughed at by other countries. Rogers, a 76-year-old retired pastor, who said, we're basically Trumpers. I mean, not radical Trumpers, but we just believe our hope of America is in him. And that comment really struck me. And I wonder if there are a lot of other folks who feel the same way, that our hope of America today resides in Donald Trump. And he said, and we just love JD. I think he's the future of the Republican Party. Also, other folks who were attending this rally in Grand Rapids. One was a 35-year-old small business owner talking about, and this will resonate, I think, with you, the struggles the average American family is facing just buying everyday items. She said, I think people are angry about prices. A single mom like me, just, groceries, gas, just everything, the cost of living, it's just unreal. Another woman, 58-year-old woman, referenced inflation as the reason why Trump will win. She said, I want things to change. We are business owners. We see a major change in everything that we purchase for our company, she said. So, and the rest of this, I have even seen some polling this morning, and it's like, wow. Enough of the polls, enough of the election, enough of the polls. Today's election day. Get out and vote. Again, polls in South Dakota will be open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. local time. Also, joining Donald Trump, he's been joined by a number of people who are out making the case for Trump. Megyn Kelly appeared with Trump, and she said he got mocked by the left for saying he would be a protector of women. He will be a protector of women, and it's why I'm voting for him, she said. He will close the border. He will keep the boys out of girls' sports and where they don't belong. So she has not always been very complimentary of Donald Trump. Megyn Kelly has not been. I mean, in fact, I think it was when Trump was initially on the scene about 9 years ago and so on, she was not a fan of Donald Trump, and she was pretty critical, if you'll remember, of him at the time. And now she is out there saying, throwing her support behind Donald Trump. And she cited illegal immigration as one of the main reasons that she's backing Trump. She said, President Trump closed the border. Kamala Harris opened it by choice. It wasn't accidental. She said it would be humane. That's what she and her boss believe. Tell that to Laken Riley's family. There was nothing humane about it. He closed it. They opened it. It was an intentional choice, and there's no reason not to believe they wouldn't do it again, she said. Kelly then talked about transgenders in women, transgender athletes in women's sports. And she mentioned Peyton McNabb, who had a traumatic brain injury, partial paralysis, after being hit in the face by a volleyball that had been spiked by a transgender athlete. And Kelly said, Kamala Harris looks at her and says, be kind, suck it up. That's what's right. Why do our girls have to face brain damage in order to be kind to boys who want to invade their sports? She said. And she went on. So she also talked about Donald Trump being a protector of women. And she said, Trump will look out for our boys too. Guys like these guys who have the calluses on their hands, who work for a living, she said. These were men that were standing right behind her. She said the beards and the tats who maybe have a beer after work and don't want to be judged by people like Oprah and Beyonce, who will never have to face the consequences of her disastrous economic policies. So she said, she also told women that they couldn't win with the girl power of Kamala Harris. I'm not into their version of toxic masculinity or new masculinity, she said. Also, other endorsements out there for Donald Trump. So you got Megyn Kelly. Joe Rogan also now has endorsed Donald Trump. He did an interview with Elon Musk, and I don't know if you've seen that. It was a pretty fascinating interview. I watched a good portion of it yesterday. Not quite all of it, but I watched a good portion of it. And prior to the interview with Elon Musk, Rogan, in a post on X, announced his new episode with Musk, and he said, the great and powerful Elon Musk, if it wasn't for him, we'd be blanked. He makes what I think is the most compelling case for Trump you'll hear, and I agree with him every step of the way. For the record, yes, that's an endorsement of Trump. Enjoy the podcast. So you've got Joe Rogan out there now endorsing Donald Trump. And then Trump, of course, hears about it. He said, it just came over the wires that Joe Rogan just endorsed me. Is that true? Trump said, thank you, Joe. That's so nice. And he doesn't do that, Trump said. So pretty incredible interview that Trump did with Joe Rogan. There are a number of other people then that are also endorsing Donald Trump. Robert Clemente Jr., who is the son of the baseball legend, said, for the first time, I had to take a step forward. It's very important for me to support this man because I believe tomorrow is a change of time. My father, the name Clemente, what it means is goodwill and unity. I believe that your team is going to bring it all home. I believe in everything that you stand for right now. Then also, this story is also trending this morning. Randy Mahomes, who is the star of Patrick Mahomes, the quarterback of the Kansas City Chiefs, she also endorsed Trump. She was wearing a Make America Great Again hat. And then she said, Make America Great Again. Let's do it. Woo! She said. Also, some Pennsylvania steel workers defied their union leadership in order to support Donald Trump. So this was ahead of Trump's remarks at this rally in Pittsburgh, that they were there and said, we have been waiting 4 years for this. He saved us once with tariffs, according to one steel worker. He's going to save us again. So you get steel workers there who are supporting Trump. The Teamsters, it was news when they refused then to back Harris because the Teamsters have traditionally endorsed Democrats for quite a length of time, and they did not endorse Kamala Harris this year. So you have some some steel workers defying their union and going to show their support for Donald Trump anyway. Also, this I mentioned the Elon Musk Joe Rogan interview. I think we've got to talk about this in more detail coming up this morning. There was a lot of things that they covered. It was just a huge story. They covered a lot of things. And again, just prior to this, Rogan endorsing Trump. But Elon Musk said, I think if Trump wins, we'll see, probably most of the boycott lift. And he's talking about the boycott on X. He said, but if Kamala wins, we'll see that boycott get stronger and they'll friggin' shut it down. He said, there's no way that this sort of Kamala public regime would allow X to exist. So Elon Musk, who is, looked at by many as a defender of freedom of speech on X, pretty incredible. But again, we'll talk about that in more detail coming up this morning. And other than this hour, really, I'm not going to be talking at length. We've covered a number of the statewide issues in South Dakota. There are 4 constitutional amendments, 2 initiated measures, and 1 referred law that we're voting on. We have covered those at various times. And at this point, it's up to you. It really is up to you to get out and cast your vote. So we won't be spending a lot of time talking about what's actually on the ballot today because we've already covered it, for those of you who are regular listeners. Also, there's this is interesting. Americans were asked in a poll, should Election Day be a federal holiday? And a pretty overwhelming number of people say yes. 70% of Americans say yes. They believe that Election Day should be a federal holiday. And I'll be very, very, excuse me, I got to mute my phone here. I'll be very, very curious to get your thoughts on it coming up this morning. We'll talk about that. What do you think? I'm in a situation where it's very easy for me to vote. My work hours are getting up at 3 a.m. is no fun, believe me. But being off by 1 p.m. most days, noon, 1 p.m., makes it easier for me to go vote. I've always got time. It's that afternoon, okay, Election Day. It's I've got the time to go vote. But for some people, that's just not the case. And I would be really interested to get your thoughts on that. We'll talk about it coming up this morning. Open up the phone lines and we'll get your thoughts. What do you think? Should Election Day be a federal holiday? Should we get the day off in order to go vote? We'll talk about that in more detail coming up. Also, there is just this incredible story about a Postal Service employee who's under investigation because the worker dumped about 300 direct mail pieces in support of a Republican into a dumpster at a Pennsylvania supermarket, and the whole thing was caught on surveillance camera. So you see this postal worker dumping all these direct mail pieces into the garbage. And the recording was turned over to investigators at the Postal Service and obtained also by the media. And so one security company official working for the supermarket said, yeah, we saw her dump it. We have a license plate. She has a Pennsylvania plate, but it looks like the mail's from Jersey. So you got a postal employee dumping the mailers that are supposed to be, it's an unfortunate situation. And that's a look at the big stories this morning. Hey, thanks so much for starting your day with the Greg Belfrage Show. We've got some great news also for you this morning. Jim Brickman, I think those of you who are fans of Jim Brickman, he's become an annual holiday tradition. And Kello has got your tickets to see Jim Brickman at the Washington Pavilion on Sunday, November 17th. So if you would like a chance to win 2 tickets to see Jim Brickman, all you have to do is text, not call, text Brickman, just the single word Brickman, text it to us at 605-336-1320. You know our number, the Kello hotline. Text the Kello hotline at 605-336-1320. Just text Brickman to that number and you're entered. It's just that easy. So this is going to be a lot of fun. I was really excited. I've been sitting on these tickets actually. Knew they were coming and very, very excited to put them in your hands. So do it today. Text Brickman to 605-336-1320 and you're in. It's just that simple. Thanks for starting your day with the Greg Belfrage Show. This hour brought to you by the Window Shop of Mitchell, offering custom windows starting at $99 a month.
7.9.
Sorry about that. Normally I mute my phone before I come in, but this morning Katie's giving me updates on voting. She's already people in line. I got my America socks on and headed over to go vote.
As a teacher, that's a burden I wouldn't want. As a mother, it makes me angry that I might not know. The law may need to be changed, but Amendment G is too extreme. Vote no on Amendment G.
What is Agility Plus? It's the new Medicare supplement Plan G coverage from Avera Health that gives you more.
More benefits at a lower cost.
More comprehensive coverage like physicals, plus heart, vascular, and hearing screenings.
That's the Avera Health Plan's new Medicare supplement Agility Plus Plan G. Contact your local agent or request a quote online. AveraHealthPlans.com/Medicare. Network restrictions apply to select plans. A Plan G policy may not cover all of your medical expenses. Neither Avera Health Plans nor its agents are connected with Medicare or state or federal government.
Robinhood is introducing forecast contracts so you can trade the presidential election. Through Robinhood, you can now trade financial derivative contracts on who will win the U.S. presidential election, Harris or Trump, and watch as contract prices react to real-time market sentiment. Each contract you own will pay $1 on January 8th, 2025, if that candidate is confirmed as the next U.S. president by Congress.
I really debated how to handle this election today because so much of this stuff, I think you're probably just tired of hearing it.
You should therefore carefully consider
So,
trading is suitable for you in light of your financial.
Coming up this morning at 7, we'll talk about whether you think Election Day should be a federal holiday. We'll move away from the issues and give it a break this morning.
This event contract is offered by Robinhood Derivatives, a registered futures commission merchant and swap firm. Exchange and regulatory fees apply. Learn more at robinhood.com/.
All right.
Another cloudy day with isolated showers, mainly during the morning, while the high temperature of 51 this afternoon. North winds 5 to 15 miles per hour. Mostly cloudy this evening and tonight, 32 our low. Try to become partly sunny for tomorrow, especially during the afternoon. We'll have a high of 53 with a light northeast wind.
And in Sioux Falls at 6:30, cloudy skies, 43 currently at Kello. Joe Bowman is in the Kello.com News Center. Coming up here shortly, election officials are expecting a high voter turnout throughout the state today. Also, Republicans are guaranteed more than a combined 50 seats in the South Dakota State Legislature, even before the votes are counted. So Joe will have details on that. Also, Sioux Falls police investigating 2 armed robberies that happened late Sunday night. Details on the way here at Kello.
It's up to voters now. Former President Trump held what he says is his last campaign rally ever in Grand Rapids, Michigan.
The presidency requires strength, courage, and grit. And in a little while, you have to stand up and tell Kamala that you've had enough.
Vice President Kamala Harris in Philadelphia election day eve.
Do we believe in the promise of America? And are we ready to fight for it? And when we fight, we win.
More than 82 million Americans voted early, more than half the expected total vote. At least 20 people, mostly women and children, are reported killed in an Israeli airstrike in northern Gaza. The Israeli military says the target was a weapons storage facility. Hospital officials say a home was hit. America's listening to Fox News.
News brought to you by Sioux Falls Implant and Sedation Dentistry. They fix your teeth while you sleep.
Kello News Time 6:31. I'm Joe Bowman in the Kello.com News Center. Election officials are expecting a high voter turnout throughout the state today. The ballot for president not only lists Trump and Harris, but also includes Libertarian Chase Oliver and former candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. South Dakota is among 32 states in which Kennedy is still on the ballot, even though he suspended his campaign back in August. RFK Jr. has endorsed and campaigned for Trump. Kennedy is telling voters in states where he's still on the ballot, don't vote for me. The polls are open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Republicans are basically guaranteed more than a combined 50 seats in the South Dakota state legislature even before the votes are counted. In the state Senate, 17 Republican candidates are running unopposed. In the state House, each district has 2 seats, and 35 Republicans from districts that didn't have 4 candidates running for the 2 seats are in. But not everything on the ballot is a lock. Polling on some of the amendments and measures up for a vote today have been showing a very close race. The polls are open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Sioux Falls Police is investigating 2 armed robberies that happened late Sunday night. The first happened shortly before 11 p.m. at the corner pantry on West 12th, where a man with a gun walked out with cash. A few hours later, a man armed with a knife robbed the Happy Jack's Casino on Southwestern. Police have not indicated that the 2 robberies are connected. Folks who need a ride to the polls today can get a discount. Uber has announced that passengers can get 50% off on trips to voting locations by tapping Go Vote on the app. And Lyft is offering their riders half off by using the code VOTE24. Uber Eats is also joining in, offering discounts on food delivery after 6 p.m. And in sports, the Jackrabbits and the Coyotes men's basketball teams both tip off the new season with some wins. SDSU beat McNeese State 80-73, and USD defeated Southern U 93-79. From the Kello.com News Center, I'm Joe Bowman.
The news never stops. Kello News Talk 1320 107.9.
Cloudy skies again today. We'll watch these isolated showers move through, mainly for the morning hours. Well, the high temperature of 51, north winds 5 to 15 miles per hour. We'll have mostly cloudy skies this evening and tonight, 32 our low. Partly sunny for tomorrow, best chance for sunshine late in the day, and a high of 53. For the Kettle Lane, I've got for Storm Center, I'm Scott Long.
Having trouble receiving Kello at 107.9? If you're in the Sioux Falls Metro, try us at FM 105.1. Kello News Talk 1320, and now at 105.1.
If you haven't voted yet, do it now. The polls are this tight. Your single vote could be the difference in winning or losing. Let's take a look, though, at this phony social media story that's spreading about votes. I'm Kim Commando for LinkedIn Jobs. Post a job for free and find qualified candidates quickly at linkedin.com/Kim. Technology has made counting the votes quicker, but technology has not changed the way that precincts, counties, and states release the vote count. This phony social media story claims that tonight, when you see a sudden surge of votes for a particular candidate, fraudulent votes were just counted too. It's a lie. Election officials have always released results in batches. When large areas are counted, officials can release a huge percentage of votes. Now you know that Trump is popular in some areas, while Harris is popular in others. This accounts for the surges that, without a doubt, will go back and forth throughout the night. You cannot rely on social media for truth or accuracy. Join over 500,000 folks and get my free newsletter at getkim.com. When hiring for a small business, you want quality professionals who are right for the role and your team. That's why I use LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs has the tools to find the right people for your team faster and for free. LinkedIn is not just another job board. You get access to LinkedIn's vast network of more than 1 billion professionals, many of whom you won't find anywhere else. That's why it's simply the best place to hire. LinkedIn does all that while making the process simple and intuitive. Hiring is easy when you have that many quality candidates. In fact, 86% of small businesses get a qualified candidate within 24 hours. LinkedIn knows that as a small business, you might not have the time or resources to spend on hiring. That's why LinkedIn is constantly finding ways to make it simpler, like the new feature to help write job descriptions. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/Kim. That's linkedin.com/Kim to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. That's linkedin.com/Kim.
The Kim Commando Show, live Saturday mornings at 9. Kello News Talk 1320, 107.9.
The Kello Hotline is brought to you by Tires, your Give You More tire and automotive store. Financing programs available, 2 Sioux Falls locations to serve you.
Hi, I'm Dean Karski, and I'd be honored to continue working for you as your Minnehaha County Commissioner. Minnehaha County is vibrant and growing, and I am proud to serve as your fiscal conservative on the County Commission. Together, we will continue to prioritize law enforcement, public safety, infrastructure, and smaller government. My commitment to serve runs deep. From 6 years in the United States Air Force, 36 years as a small business owner, and 8 years on the Minnehaha County Commission, where I am currently chair. I'm asking for your vote on November 5th.
The big wireless companies want to limit you to 2 choices when it comes to data, unlimited or unlimited. And guess what? Both are stupidly expensive. Now stop overpaying for data that you're never ever going to use. That's like paying for a pot of coffee when all you need is a cup, or filling your entire truck bed full of gas when you only need a tank. Now with Pure Talk, my cell phone company, you get to choose how much data that you actually want and need. And for example, for $25 a month, you'll get unlimited talk and text, 5 gigs a day, which is more than enough, and they'll include mobile hotspot and roaming in 50 plus countries. Stop overpaying for wireless. Get America's best 5G coverage with Pure Talk. Just dial pound 250, say the keyword save now, and do it now. You'll save an additional 50% off your first month. The switch is simple, fast, and easy. No contract to sign, no activation fee, and you keep your phone and your phone number. Pound 250, keyword save now. The same service for much less.
Want to take a moment and tell you about my friends at 49th Street Liquor at 49th in Minnesota. We're so grateful for the sponsors of the Greg Belfrage Show. 49th Street Liquor is really, you check it out. Seriously, with Thanksgiving coming up, we're already, it's hard to believe we're already approaching Thanksgiving. Maybe you've got some kind of fall gathering, hunting trip, so on. 49th Street Liquor has got you covered. They've got everything that you that you need of your favorite beer, wine, and spirits. The staff there is just incredibly helpful. I really enjoyed my visits there. They've got a big walk-in beer cave, including some local beers as well at 49th Street Liquor. They've got new brands of seltzers. You can also find those in singles, just a lot. So if you've got any kind of gathering coming up this fall, they've got what you need, your favorite beverages. They've also got a humidor with a variety of fine cigars. I mean, I was just blown away by this place. You'll also find products from Dakota Butcher. These are fresh meats and steaks, pickled products, hot sauce, just a variety of things that you will find at the new 49th Street Liquor at 49th and Minnesota.
Okay, some mornings you might not have that get up and go.
But at least you can get up and know.
The Greg Belfrage Show, with insightful opinions on the latest stories and frequent weather updates. It'll get you in the know while you're getting ready to go. Kello News Talk 1320, 107.9. Entertaining talk at
20 minutes before 7. Cloudy skies at 43. Good morning, my friend. You're listening to the Greg Belfrage Show here on Kello. This hour brought to you by the Window Shop of Mitchell, offering custom windows starting at $99 a month.
Trending now. Let the tweeting begin. Hashtag does that. News and views from Belf's News Gallery.
Well, a lot of election day stories. Donald Trump and Kamala Harris holding dueling rallies in Pittsburgh. So this was one day before the election today. Both of them out speaking. What's Kamala Harris saying? They're not. Most of the reactions in this story is from folks who were attending. Also, volunteers in the office of the Democratic Committee are pushing voters to get in their mail-in ballots before Election Day. And they said that they believe that with the Republicans, there's a great deal of enthusiasm here. We're using mail-in and absentee ballots at a much greater clip than we have at any time since 2020. And you have both sides saying how the effort has been going. So Joe Rogan has endorsed Donald Trump. He did so in a post on X last night because he was sharing an interview that he did with Elon Musk. And we'll talk about that in more detail coming up this morning. And Rogan said, the great and powerful Elon Musk, if it wasn't for him, we'd be blanked. He makes what I think is the most compelling case for Trump you'll hear, and I agree with him every step of the way. For the record, yes, that's an endorsement of Trump. Enjoy the podcast. Donald Trump, this story is trending. The legacy, a lot of these stories, the legacy media, and you look at them, the story is trending, and it's almost all left-wing media sources. But you can see that. It's one of the reasons I really like Free Spoke, which is where I pull trending stories from. They'll show you all of the stories that are trending each morning. And so the Trump made a comment on Sunday at a rally that he shouldn't have left the White House in 2021. He said, I shouldn't have left. I mean, honestly, we did so well. So now every polling booth has hundreds of lawyers standing there, Trump said. And and then the media just starts spinning that. It's just exhausting is what it is, be honest with you. Also, Nikki Haley making her case for Donald Trump in an op-ed piece in the Wall Street Journal. And she said, I'll point out that Mr. Trump isn't the only one on the ballot. This election isn't a referendum on him. It's a choice between him and Kamala Harris. And because of that, a vote for Trump is an easy call. No politician gets everything right, she said. But for those of us clear-eyed enough to see Mr. Trump's flaws and honest enough to acknowledge them, the question is whether we're better off with his policies or his opponents. And on everything from taxes to national security, immigration, and energy, Trump is clearly the better choice. So she wrote a full op-ed in favor of Donald Trump. Also trending this morning, the Georgia Supreme Court ruled yesterday that certain absentee ballots can only be counted if they arrive by Election Day. And so this will set aside then the loss. Okay, so the election will be over soon, and now the lawsuits begin. the lawsuits begin, and so this is likely to generate lawsuits. And again, this is a ruling by the Georgia Supreme Court, who had overturned lower state courts. And we'll see whether or not the U.S. Supreme Court decides to take up the issue. Also, the U.S. Supreme Court will hear arguments early next year. This is over a dispute over race and redistricting in Louisiana. So this news is actually from Friday, but it's trending. It's pretty common with news stories that sometimes it takes a few days before they actually start trending. So the decision of the court in that case was on Friday. Also, New York Governor Kathy Hochul said on Saturday that New Yorkers who vote for Republican House candidates are anti-American and anti-women. This is just absolutely. I saw this yesterday, and I'm like, what? I mean, what? She said, if you're voting for these Republicans in New York, you are voting for someone who supports Donald Trump, and you're anti-women, you're anti-abortion, and basically you're anti-American. This is what she said on MSNBC. You just trashed American values and what our country is all about over and over. I mean, and I just sit there and it's like, what in the world is she talking about? This is just absolutely crazy. And this is why I always wind up, the opinion that the left has. So you're a Republican in New York, and you're voting your values. This is the way you're treated by your governor. How folks tolerate that is beyond me. It's just absolutely incredible. Also, Elon Musk, has been in the news not only for his appearance on Joe Rogan this week and his appearance in Donald Trump rallies, but Elon Musk and his political action committee and that voter sweepstakes has been making news this week. And so one of his lawyers for this political action committee told a judge in Philadelphia yesterday that the so-called winners of his $1 million a day voter sweepstakes in swing states were not chosen by chance, but instead chosen to be paid spokespeople for the group. So this is not done by chance. Elon Musk had been finding people and choosing them to be a paid spokesperson for the group. And again, this is the lawyer who making the case, and it's saying these $1 million recipients are not chosen by chance. We know exactly who will be announced as the $1 million recipient today and tomorrow. And Elon Musk was not at the hearing, but the judge, that was the definitive argument. So they were not chosen by chance. They were selected. And I think really the judge then ruling, yeah, well, this can continue then through election day. Absolutely. It can continue, which it has. Also, Randy Mahomes is the mother of Patrick Mahomes. And she She was at an NFL game recently as her son took the field, and she was wearing a Make America Great Again hat. And she said to the camera, "Make America great again. Let's do it. Whoa," she said. So there had been you got Patrick Mahomes' mother out there cheering, "Make America great again," ahead of the Monday Night Football game. And it's been pretty wild. Patrick Mahomes' wife received criticism this summer for liking a post about Trump on Instagram. You'll remember I told you about this at the time. That story was trending. And so Brittany Mahomes said, honestly, to be a hater as an adult, you have to have some deep-rooted issues you refuse to heal from childhood, she said. There's no reason your brain is fully developed and you hate to see others doing well. And then you'll remember Trump then reached out and said, "I want to thank beautiful Brittany Mahomes for so strongly defending me and the fact that MAGA is the greatest and most powerful political movement in the history of our now failing country," Trump said at the time. Also, Sean Diddy Combs, let's all shed a tear for Sean Diddy Combs, who spent his 55th birthday in jail. His lawyers are seeking a gag order. They're saying after outrageous claims from a witness. So I'm not sure which is the bigger story here for the legacy media as to whether or not the fact that they're seeking the gag order or that he spent his 55th birthday in jail. It seemed to be irrelevant to me, but also the head coach of the San Antonio Spurs is out indefinitely due to an undisclosed health issue. So this is being reported on by Sports Illustrated, ESPN, USA Today, and others. While we're talking about the NFL, the New Orleans Saints have fired Coach Dennis Allen after a 7-game losing streak. So Darren Ritchie has been named as an interim head coach. Also trending this morning, this is wild. The interim New York City Police Commissioner and the top spokesman for the police department got into a shouting match about a management-related issue. We don't know what it was, but this was at the New York City Marathon route on Sunday. So the two were shouting at each other, got so heated, their voices could be heard from hundreds of feet away, according to people who were there. So this, the confrontation between the two ended after the chief of the department intervened and got in between them. I'm not sure why that story is trending, but it is. Also trending this morning, the FBI foiled a possible drone attack on an energy facility in Tennessee yesterday. This is coming from the Justice Department. Saying this man allegedly planned to fly the drones packed with explosives into the plant. And so a 24-year-old man was arrested and charged with attempted use of a weapon of mass destruction, attempted destruction of an energy facility, and the FBI, Attorney General Merrick Garland said he was moments away from launching an attack on a Nashville energy facility to further his violent white supremacist ideology but the FBI had already compromised his plot, according to Garland. This case serves as yet another warning to those seeking to sow violence and chaos in the name of hatred by attacking our country's critical infrastructure. He said, the Justice Department will find you, we will disrupt your plot, and we will hold you accountable. So he was caught with his drone, and the drone was powered up and ready to go. And that's a look at the stories trending this morning in Belf's News Gallery. Hey, if you're a fan of Jim Brickman, we have got your chance to see Jim Brickman at the Washington Pavilion Sunday, November 17th. And if you would like a chance to win 2 tickets, we're giving away a number of sets of tickets to see Jim Brickman. All you have to do is text, do not call, but text Brickman to 336-1320. That's all you've got to do. Just text Brickman to 605-336-1320, and we'll randomly draw winners to see Jim Brickman and his live concert Sunday, November 17th at the Washington Pavilion. So make sure you do that now. This hour of the Greg Belfrage Show brought to you by the Window Shop of Mitchell, offering custom windows starting at $99 a month. Thanks so much for letting me join you this morning. Hope you'll be back at 9:30 for the 4th hour. And I'll just make sure you get out and vote today. Please cast your vote. Make your voice heard. I'll see you again later. Take care. Papers everywhere.